Jessica Hacker is joining us, of course, for Thrifty Thursday, and I'm really excited about all the stuff you have put together. It's kind of an ensemble to go on top of mashed potatoes, which are one of my favorite sides.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah, it's not really chicken noodle soup. It's definitely more kind of like a gravy. It's a lot thicker, which I love. It's pretty easy. Obviously, you're going to start with a whole chicken. You can get those really all the time for about 99 cents a pound. Watch for good sales, though. I picked those chickens up for 55 cents a pound. So that chicken only cost me a little over $2.
Wow.
But otherwise, it'll cost you about $5 for the chicken. You're going to stick that in a big pot with either, use chicken broth, or of course you see like the, the cubes. You can use either one of those. If you're doing the chicken broth, you're going to use 2 of those. That's going to give you 8 cups. And then I like to pretty much double that, then match it with water. And boil your chicken in it. If you're going to do the cubes, obviously I think it's 1 per 8 ounces. So you're gonna, if you're doing that, you have 16 of them that you're going to need to use.
And it tells you on there how many to use for the water. So.
Yep. Boil your chicken. It'll take about an hour for it to boil down. Take it out, let it cool so you can peel the chicken off. Meanwhile, put your potatoes into your pot.
Are you hanging on to the broth after the chicken cooks? Okay, so you're cooking the potatoes in the broth after the chicken's been boiled.
Yep, and it'll give them that great flavor too. Same thing. It's like so while that's happening, obviously we know how to mash potatoes, do all that stuff. Beyond that, it's the noodles. That's what makes it right there.
Because these are homemade noodles. You're not buying them in a box.
Boiling them. Nope. These are homemade and they're super easy. Well, I've got 1 3/4 cup of flour. You're just going to put in about a teaspoon. I know, mind my measuring, but about that.
That's how my wife does it, and she makes good food when she does that.
It works fine. And your eggs, this is 2 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. So if you want to do yolkless, you can do that. You'll do the 3 just egg whites.
And you're just going to want to,
and you're just going to want to bump up the oil though, because you do need that moisture. So you'll need to add about another 2 teaspoons of oil.
Just use the yolks.
Yeah, just use the yolks. That's where the delicious flavor is, right? So that goes in. You got a 1/3 cup of water, and same thing, about a teaspoon of oil, but
a little pour.
Just a little pour. Yep. And so you see. Get it all mixed.
Now, I have a question for you that I've been wondering for a really long time. You must have a massive freezer out in your garage, yes?
I do,
because I was thinking, as I've been trying to do better, more conscientious shopping, that freezing is really the way to go, because when you find the great deals, you can kind of stockpile some stuff, but you really need the room for it, don't you?
You do. Yeah, I have a couple freezers. I really kind of make, one is my meat freezer, one is my everything else freezer. And really you can pick freezers up cheap. If you're not wanting to buy a new one, you can pick them up so cheap.
Absolutely. Not a bad thing to have.
No.
So we're making this noodle dough. It is dough, right? That's what you call it.
It's a dough.
And let's quickly get this rolled out.
That's amazing how fast that was out of...
And I love that too.
Yeah, you got to have one of these.
I'm usually just sticking my hands in the flour, and I'm sure that makes for gross cookies later on.
I know. But now the thing with the dough, with these, is it's not like a bread dough. You don't want to knead it a lot. The more you knead it, the stickier it'll get. Or, it'll become really tough. So
and do I get to roll this out?
Yeah, you want to roll it out? I've kind of made a mess, but you can roll it out.
I was just telling Jessica how we washed these tablecloths just this week, and now we've got flour all over them.
And now I'm making a mess.
Now, is it as simple as just flattening these out and then cutting them to the desired noodle shapes?
Yep.
And how thin are you going?
However you like it. My family likes them a little bit thicker. They're almost kind of like dumplings, really. And then I like to use a pizza cutter.
Oh, that makes sense.
I know, it's kind of hard on here. It wants to roll around on you.
You're doing good, though.
You are. You're not doing too bad.
I'm filling up the whole. Is this butcher paper or wax paper?
That's just some butcher paper.
Okay, butcher paper.
But, you can do it on your countertop. I like to use just a pizza cutter and cut your sizes that you want it.
Nice.
Just like so.
And then you're just going to boil them like you would any hard noodles from the store, right?
Yep. And so then what you're going to do with it, is then after you've taken your potatoes out, you still have that broth. You've got your chicken in there. You just put those noodles and make sure it's at a nice rapid boil so they don't stick together. It'll only take them a couple minutes that they'll cook. And
then you've got your gravy to slop on top of the mashed potatoes.
Yes.
So we're going to have the whole recipe, including the cost breakdown, at IdahoOnYourSide.com. You can also find it at livingonacoupon.com. So some delicious chicken and almost dumplings, homemade noodles,
really is,
some gravy on top of that mashed potatoes. Thanks so much for another great edition of Thrifty Thursday. I'm excited to make that one at home.